Welcome everybody. This is the watch list for Thursday, September 7th. I put these watch lists out for you guys for free every single day. I do weekly swings, I do monthly swings. The Griswold Gold members get the top 5 from these lists every single day. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the easiest strategy that you guys will find. What I try and do is simplify everything. I try and keep everything as simple as can be. My mantra has always been, when you simplify trading, trading becomes simplified, and that's exactly what we teach here. I had one of the people in my Discord, which, by the way, is free to join. The link is in the description below. I had them ask if I use the smaller time frames below the hourly and the daily when I trade. I don't. I don't concentrate on that stuff when I trade. As long as the hourly and the daily are trading in the direction of my trade, that's what I look for. Okay, but let's get started on this list. The screen that you see in front of you here, this is TradingView. If you guys are brand new to trading, you're looking for something like this, I have a link in the description below. That link will get you a free 30-day trial to TradingView's sub-based services. And then if you decide to actually use their services, you get up to $30 off, but you need to start by clicking that link. You can do so after the video. But for now, let's get started on this list. CL, we're going to start there with Colgate-Palmolive. Now, this isn't technically on the list. It's actually not on the list at all. But I wanted to bring it up to you guys because somebody today, might have been last night, asked me what a Momo hammer was and what a Momo shooter was. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is a shooter candle. This is a Momo shooter, basically a momentum shooter candle. So we are already 2 down. We're in a trend to the downside. There's the momentum, there's the shooter candle, and there's the continuation that you see off of that Momo shooter. A hammer would be exactly the opposite. So there are 3 actionable signals when we're talking in regards to the Strat. There's the shooter candles, which you see here, the body at the bottom, long wick to the top. There's the hammer candles with the bodies at the top and the long wicks to the bottom. I might have reversed that, but shooter candles, wick to the top, body at the bottom. Hammer candles, body at the top, wick to the bottom. And then there's inside bars, which we'll talk about as we go through this. And there is our first inside bar off of Adobe. So Adobe is that third shooter candle, or sorry, the third actionable signal candle. So anybody who's new to trading or is struggling with their trading, I always tell them to concentrate on the inside bars. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at the daily chart, the 15-minute chart, the 30-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the monthly chart. The inside bars, you see it's painted yellow. That is part of the indicator I created for you guys. But that yellow bar, that inside bar, which does not break the high or the low of the previous candle, it's what we call a consolidating candle. It's a tightening range. So when we have that yellow candle, I want you guys to think of that yellow candle as a spring being tightened, compacted, squished. And when you release the pressure off that, what you're expecting, or what we would hope, or the probability, is that we get these big runs, okay? We like to see these big runs off of the inside bars. So that's probability. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's what we expect to happen, or that's what we would hope would happen. Now, I always like to show you guys it doesn't always happen that way. This one went outside bar, but this one right here had a great run, okay? Like I said, it doesn't always happen, but here we triggered and we hit targets. Here we triggered, we didn't hit targets, or maybe we did just slightly. But that's all we're looking for. We're triggering and we're looking to hit targets. These are the runs we're talking about when we're looking for those plays off of those inside bars. So when we look at Adobe with this inside bar, we've got really good time frame continuity, which is something you guys have to pay attention to, time frame continuity. If you don't know what it is, I'll put a video at the end of this one. It explains what time frame continuity is. This is time frame continuity here with the hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. Those are the different charts, okay? The daily chart, the weekly chart, and the arrows are telling us which direction it is currently going on that chart. We want as many of those in our favor as possible because it gives the probability of the trade a much higher chance of succeeding. So we look at these inside bars, we take the breaks of the high or the low. So we can look for calls on Adobe at 564.06 or puts at 555.85. If you have questions on that, you can leave them in the comment section below, or you can leave them on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold, or you can do so in the Discord. There's been a lot of engagement recently in the Discord, which I'm really happy to have. A lot of people posting their wins, asking questions. So it's really, really great. And that Discord is free to join, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. There is a private paid portion of that Discord that gives you a bunch of other learning tools, but the majority of the Discord is free. Let's move on to JP Morgan. 2 down, finish green. We're going to look for the calls back to the upside. So anytime we have a two candle breaks one side or the other of the previous candle, and that's considered a 2. It's either a 2 down or a 2 up. This one only broke the downside, so we call that a 2 down, but it finished green. So when it finishes green, that tells me that buyers are trying to take this thing back, and we can look for this to trend back to the upside. So we look for calls off of that yellow line, that's our trigger line, at 145.54, and we mark our first targets at the top of the preceding wick, and that's it. And then the next target would just go to the next top of the next wick. We move on to Tesla. Now, Tesla has a double inside bar. Super rare pattern. You see the blue highlight on this? That is part of my indicator as well. So if we go back in time and look at the last time Tesla had a double inside bar, they don't happen very often, but let's go find one. There it is. We triggered and we hit targets, and that's about it. It wasn't a great run, but we expect a bigger move when we have that double spring-loaded action, if you will. So that's what we've got on Tesla. We do also have a hammer candle, so we have 2 actionable signals. We can look for the calls on this at 255.39, puts at 245.06. For you guys with the smaller accounts, Tesla's going to be really, really hard for you to trade because the premium on those options are so expensive. You're paying hundreds to thousands of dollars to get into these trades on Tesla. You're going to want to look for something like SPY or Google or Microsoft or Coca-Cola or CCL. I just gave you a whole bunch. I do have a video on that as well within my channel. So make sure you subscribe to that channel for more learning tools, because I've got over 100 videos to teach you exactly how I trade, exactly the way this strategy works. Okay, we look at Walmart. Walmart had a 2 down green again as well. So we're going to look for the calls back to the upside at 162.17. First target's at 162.80, and this is what we would call a rev strat. So a 1-2-2 rev strat, and realistically it has that because of this inside bar. We're looking for a 1-2-2 reversal. It is just a 2-2 reversal in its simplest form. So that's what we're looking for there. We go to XOM, 2 down green as well. And remember I talked about time frame continuity. That's what we have here. This is really important. This is something we really want to look at, and we should be looking at with this full time frame continuity right across the board, trading back into time frame continuity. So we'll look for those calls at 114.59. Go on to XOP, same thing, 2 down green. The full time frame continuity isn't there, but a lot of the majority is playing into it. So we can look for calls there at 152.86. Airbnb with an inside bar, calls at 143.22, puts at 140.27. AMD with an inside bar as well, and it's actually a 3-1 setup. So this 3-1 setup is also signified by this gold pattern here, this gold highlight. And again, it's a rare pattern. It doesn't happen very often. So if we go back in time to find the last 3-1 setup, that's what we got off of it. Okay, so it was still a good run. We didn't hit targets, but it was still a good run. And we'll see if we can find one more here. There we go. Triggered and targets. Okay, did what it said it was going to do, and it just continued on throughout the week. Now, if we hop back to the actual play, we are also 2 up on the week. Those 2 pink lines there, that was an inside bar on the weekly. I know that because I put those there for my weekly triggers and my weekly video. So we have gone 2 up on the week already. We'll see if we can re-trigger that and continue to go 2 up on the week. Citibank, 2 up. 2 down, finish green. We're going to look for calls to the upside. And if we get these calls, guys, you can look for this to hit this target up here. Maybe not tomorrow, but within the week, because then we have crossed the 50% mark of the previous candle. And we're looking to go outside bar. Once we pass the 50% mark of the previous candle, that's something that signifies that we could potentially go outside bar or a 3-bar. 3-bar breaks both the high, just like this 3-bar here, outside bar, painted white with my indicator, breaks the high and breaks the low. So that's what we'd be looking for there, if it happens the way I just described it. CCL inside bar, this is another one with cheap option premiums. We can look for calls at 15.49. We'll mark the targets at the top together. and we can mark targets at the bottom together if the puts happen to come out. 1504 for the puts. From CCL, we go to CVX, inside bar on CVX, so calls at 167.44, puts at 165.58. Ford Motor Company, 2 down green, hammer candle. We'll look for this to trend back to the upside, calls at 12.11, first target at 12.18. If you're buying into this one, guys, I usually say get 1 to 2 strikes out of the trigger price, so that would be like a 12.50 or a 13. I'm not going to tell you to do that here. I would be looking for something in the money here. Either $12, $11.50. I'm not sure what the option, the strikes are, but that's what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for something in that $12 range, that $11.75 range if I was buying on this, okay? So that's for Ford. INTC, 2 down green. Looks like a hammer candle or pretty close to it, so we can look for the calls there at 37.04. Coca-Cola, another one of those cheap premiums. We can look for calls at 58.83 on Coke. IBM, 2 down green, calls at 148.83. Inside bar on Microsoft, not quite a hammer candle. I'd like to see this body a little higher up or a little bigger, or the wick a little longer, but the inside bar in itself is an actionable signal, so we can look for calls here at 334.46, puts at 330.18. MU with a 3-1 setup as well. The last time we had 3-1 on MU, let's go back. There's a double inside bar on MU that was really successful. This one gapped up, okay? It gapped up at the target and then trended down. If you don't know how to play the gaps, I've got a whole playlist series on how to play morning gaps, okay? Let's find one more 3-1 setup on MU, on Micron. There it is. And again, we gapped. So 2 gaps out of 2 that we found. If we go to find one more, this one triggered, hit targets, and that's all you got, okay? So potentially, MU, you could look for a gap here on MU tomorrow. Not saying it's going to happen, but the potential is there based off of history. We go on to Netflix, inside bar on Netflix as well. 451.39 for the calls there, puts at 440.49. Options are usually pretty expensive on Netflix here. So Nike, 2 down green, hammer candle. We'll look for that to trend back up. We haven't broken this inside bar yet on the weekly, so we are closer to 2 down than we are to 2 up. We'll see how Nike plays out. Roku, nothing like we've seen so far today. Big 2 up red candle. The sellers brought this gap, so it opened here, big gap, brought it all the way back down, filled the gap. We're going to look for puts on here. We're going to look for this to trend back to the downside. We're going to put our targets here at 80.36. We can look for those puts at 83.59. And you can look for a strike price of 83, 83.50 if it's there, 82, something in that range. From Roku, let's head on to XLU with an inside bar hammer candle. So calls 61.89, puts at 61.42. XEL inside bar, so calls there at 56.36, puts at 55.52. If you guys have questions on this stuff, please ask them below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Let me know what you do like, what you don't like. Get a hold of me on Twitter. And if you want more help, the Discord is free. Like I said, that link is in the description. If you want the premium package for the Discord, you get the indicator that we've talked about. You get live trade setups on the 5, 15, 30, and the hourly charts. They come directly to you. They're my trading bots. They give you the setups as they happen. You get a 1-hour Strat course, which will help you push through all the difficult stuff that you're not really getting. And if that still isn't enough, I'll give you one-on-ones while you're in that Discord and part of the membership. It's a cheap $50 a month thing. You'll get it back in one trade, especially the way I teach you guys how to trade SPY 155. If you don't know what that is, make sure you're checking out those videos as well. I've got about 4 or 5 of them. Super easy day trading strategy where you set your triggers and targets on the 15 and you manage that trade on the 5. You're in and you're out. It's 40 minutes or less usually in that trade. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck trading on Thursday. If you need help, extend a hand. I will extend mine back to give you guys the help that you need. Good luck, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.